All right, cool. So what's going on, man?
Not much.
How are you
Just been kind
feeling?
of chilling. I so for anyone that doesn't know this, that's watching the podcast or listening to it, about about 24 hours ago, I started about 48 hours ago, I started a 24-hour stream to help out with the devastation that was in Iowa because of the derecho, and I played Fall Guys for basically 24 straight hours
I don't know how you
and
did it, man.
didn't go to sleep once. Didn't eat any meals. I actually just ate fruit snacks. Ate fruit snacks and drank Red Bull and went to sleep last night at 6:15 p.m. Woke up today at about 11:30 a.m.
That's crazy. I mean, at least you're alive.
Yeah,
you,
that's
you
the big
you
thing.
hear some horror stories, man.
Yeah.
People doing it, but yeah. If you want to elaborate on what happened in it was Iowa, was it not?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to do that, be my guest.
Basically what happened in Iowa is it started out, everyone just thought that we were gonna get like a bad storm, like a rainstorm, lightning, all that. And I was actually working, so I was 3 hours north of where I live. And when I was working, we were working outside because we that portion of Iowa wasn't supposed to get any rain. So we're working outside, and I was carrying a table out to the trailer because I work for a moving company. And I look up and I just see the sky get super dark, like a storm dark. And I was like, hang on, this is weird. And we close up everything, we go inside their house, and we wait. And then the lights cut off, everything starts kind of shaking. And I was like, hang on, are we about to get hit by a tornado? So I pull up my phone and I tell my friends back in Iowa City, I was like, look, we got a tornado coming. You got to let people know. You got to start preparing. And everything ends. Lights come back on. Everything's all good. And we go outside and we see a semi truck flipped over.
Jesus.
Not completely flipped over, but on its side. And I was like, yeah, this was no joke. And other than that, everything was fine. No towers cut out. But then about 3 hours later, the storm hit Iowa City, and there was winds recorded up to 120 miles an hour. And the term for it is a derecho. People are comparing it to like an inland hurricane. So it damaged around $10 billion worth of crops, buildings, stuff like that. And basically, I went to Cedar Rapids, which was the place I was hardest hit. It's about 20 minutes from my house, and I checked it out. Usually, it takes me 20 minutes to get to Cedar Rapids. It took me 2 hours to get there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's
Was there like a lot of trees down or something? Is that what happened?
yeah, there was a ton of trees down. There's a few pictures if you look it up of trees falling on people's houses, and their houses are like split in half.
Oh, really? I think I saw one TikTok today where like a tree fell on like someone's whole entire like back deck and it just cut the whole thing off. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you're
it
not really
was
seeing a lot about what's going on right now.
the yeah we that's part of why I did it today. Our governor sent in a declaration and then asked for $4 billion in federal funding to help with the damages, and Trump immediately signed it, and it's
That's
going
good.
into effect. And yeah, he's coming down tomorrow to Cedar Rapids to see the damage for himself. And so, yeah, that's really good. Usually stuff like that doesn't get passed so fast.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's. I mean, he's taking it very seriously very quickly because like it didn't pick up any attention. So like usually people don't care, but like good for him, honestly.
I think more of it is because he's Republican. Our governor's a Republican. They had a really good relationship. So
That makes sense.
yeah, but yeah, when I woke up and saw that, I was really pleased to see that, even though we didn't get a lot of national media coverage, that something is being done, and I hope that him coming to Cedar Rapids brings a ton of attention to it
Yeah,
because
hopefully,
it's real.
because it seems like
Yeah.
a lot more intense
Mhm.
than like I think anybody thought. Like even I had no idea until yesterday.
Yeah. Hang on. I've liked a few tweets I can read out of quotes that people came into work for the who came to help out with everything said. So let's see. It's down here.
Um,
So it.
A couple of the guys
said
they
that
wanted to know before you're ready to, dude, how many games did you win of Fall Guys?
I won 0.
Really?
I didn't win a single game. All right,
I'm not even criticizing you,
don't
man,
get
because
mad.
I wouldn't win a single game either, honestly.
Yeah, I was pretty mad. So, Major General Ben Carell of the Iowa National Guard said this damage this week is something he's never seen before in comparative to the damage from Hurricane Katrina in 2005. And JT Linder said that just gotta scroll down to this here. Man, this man retweets a lot of stuff. Oh my gosh, why is he retweeting so much? It's not even gotta find. It was really good. It was something that really opened my eyes. I was like, wow. Oh my god, I can't even find it. Come on. This, sorry guys, listen, I gotta find this. Mm. That's so crazy. He might have deleted it because it was. I saw it. This.
So somebody wanted to know that they said that they see the bend but they don't see the house.
Oh, the house is behind me, man. I'm not gonna give a house to
Then
her.
where's the log, honestly?
The log?
Yeah, what the hell's going on?
I would show it on stream, but I'd get banned.
What
That's
are
for the OnlyFans.
they? Jeez. So, um, but yeah, if you can't find the tweets, it's all right. You know, they don't have to go too crazy looking for them if you don't if you can't find them.
I could not, but what it the tweet was just comparing it to the amount of damages. Was another person comparing it to the power outage. The power outage company said that it was comparable to uh, the hurricane that hit the Bahamas.
Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, that's intense.
So yeah, yeah, it's crazy because no one really took it that serious from outside of Iowa, and now you have people seeing it and being like, this, like comparing it to very big natural disasters.
Right. Yeah, and which is crazy because again, there's zero media coverage, at all. Like that's what's so bizarre that it seems to be rather big, and nobody
Yeah,
really cares in any capacity, honestly.
yeah. The only media coverage we ever received was like a 30-second thing when it was talking about the whole entire storm. But our local news has been going to work for it, so that's I like hats off to those guys because they've been working really hard
That's good. Yeah,
covering this.
that's definitely good. Um, yeah. Well, how much money did you raise yesterday?
The stream, uh, at the end of the stream, we were at $3,000 68 cents and 66 $3,068 and 66 cents. But PayPal, I didn't know they tax.
Yeah, they
So they take
taxed.
some money.
They take
So
they take a
mhm,
service fee of like 3% plus 30 cents per transaction.
yeah, there.
So
Yeah, not a big fan of that, but you know you gotta do what you gotta
it's
do.
a little better than TikTok. I mean TikTok. It's a little better. I mean it's like
Oh
I'd say
yeah.
it's a little bit better than Twitch because Twitch takes like you buy 100 bits for $1.40. Buy a dollar worth of bits for $1.40. So
Yeah.
honestly you're getting more out of the PayPal than anything else. But it can really screw you if you only get like a dollar donation. But still that's good. I mean you raised a good amount of money.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting on the sub money and the bit money to come to me. You know how Twitch is like kind of slow with that
Mm-hmm.
about getting it to you. So when that comes
Yeah,
in, I'll add it all up.
takes like a month.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's
it's
gonna
not.
it's gonna be a
When it all
while.
comes in, I'm gonna send it.
That's good though. That's
Yeah,
definitely
but
good.
I'm estimating. Yeah, I'm estimating we raised around $5,000. But that's just estimates. I'm not completely sure
That's
how
good though.
much we raised. Yeah, I was pleased.
Yeah, no, that was great. Fucking for 24 hours, man. Oof. You know.
Yeah, that really kicked the crap out of me.
Yeah, you gonna do that
We
again?
bounced back.
You gonna do that again sometime soon?
Ooh. Um, I kind of like to be alive, but
I
I might.
if I ever did a 24-hour stream, I feel like I would sleep. Like you gotta sleep, you know.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
yeah,
nuts.
around 3 a.m. I was I was talking like the teachers from Charlie Brown. Like I rewatched my like at me at 3 a.m. I did not make any sense whatsoever. I was stuttering so much. Like I was playing Fall Guys. I was like, get out of my way.
Yeah, no, you seem to be doing or decently yesterday when we played a little bit of Fall Guys. Um,
Yeah, I just had a Red Bull right before that. Well, I was shotgunning because we hit 2,000. I was like, I'll shotgun a Red Bull.
oh, is that what you're doing? You know what's so you know what sucks is like when I hit I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday. When I hit like hype trains, I would like twerk, and then I found out like that's against terms of service, so now I have no idea what I'm gonna
Yeah,
do. I don't know what to do anymore.
yeah. I had channel points, and my channel points were having me throw it back, and I would just
Oh
start
yeah.
turning up and throwing it back, and then someone's like, "Yo, this streamer with 20,000 viewers got banned the other day," and I was like, "Yeah, if he
Really?
got banned, I'm definitely getting
Yeah,
myself banned."
that's what I'm like. Okay, I gotta stop. I got away with it
Yeah,
for a while, but it's like it's so silly because it's just like a dance and like whatever. Like there's nobody in my
yeah,
chat like, oh my god, like I really. They just find it funny when like a fat guy like twerks. You know what I mean? That's it,
yeah,
and it's like me
yeah,
too. I find it funny too, man. Like you know, unfortunately now I got to figure out some other gimmick for when I get like a hype train or something. Uh,
yeah.
you know, I'm sure I could find something else to do to embarrass myself.
Yeah,
Somebody
I see that you have a 2032 shirt with your face on it. Are you going to be running for
Yeah,
public office in
you
2032?
know what? When I was still under my first account, it was Big American Gut. Somebody had made
Mhm.
like this logo with the 2032 behind it, and like it was like a running joke. And so like, but as you know, as time goes on, like yeah, I guess maybe honestly, I mean, if I'm still a thing, 12 years from now,
Yeah,
who knows? I mean, I could run in 2028, but I don't know. 2032 is feeling like it just seems it's just a nice number, you know. So I
yeah.
left it in
So,
there
yeah,
to promote the
yeah. How
meme.
old are you?
I'm 30 years old right now. So,
Okay, so you could be president in 15, right? Is it 45 or is it 35?
it's 35. 35. Yeah, you
Okay.
have to be 35. So I can't do 2024. I'd have to wait till 28 would be the earliest time I could do it. But maybe, who knows? You know, I people ask me if I'd run for like public offices now, but it's just like to me, I feel like there's obviously like a political vacuum, and like once you enter it, I feel like you just slowly get tripped away until you like succumb to
Yeah.
the system. And like I would rather go in very bullheadedly, not understanding the way things work because I don't want to play like the rules. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a particular
Yeah.
fan of Donald Trump, but like the one thing he had going for him is like he didn't really care about the rules. And it's like I
Mhm.
feel like we kind of need to kind of separate from all the you know what's going on right now. I mean, every politician is getting harassed by a lobbyist in some capacity. You know, they already make like something to the effect of almost $200,000 a year, and then you know on top of that they're begging for you know lobbyist positions. Then once they get voted out of office, now they also have like these credentials where they could actually get hired by different lobbying firms, and they know the ins and outs. And like it's a big sham. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's really toxic, and I don't want to be part of that unless I was like president and had like legitimate power.
So it's a little bit comparative to TikTok, huh?
Huh? It's like,
A
oh
little bit
yeah.
comparative to TikTok, yeah.
Oh, TikTok sucks, man. Sorry,
Yeah.
TikTok sucks, man.
Facts.
Um, like it's cool, but like it just feels like everybody who's very politically correct is like controlling everything. It's so sad. Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
if you say like, and it's so okay. Like, did you catch? You know Joe Rope? Yeah, you do because yesterday your stream was harassing Joe Rope. Did you see like the
Yeah,
video he
yeah.
put up today?
No, let me watch it really quick. Actually. I
Yeah,
wanna-
no. While you do that, I'll have my guys watch it too.
For
I'll
those of you guys who don't know, Joe Rogan is a TikToker.
He's the best TikToker in the world. Let's see. What is
Uh,
this?
the
Oh, this isn't even
content.
really Joe Rogan. What the hell? What the?
He has 1.8
Wait.
million followers on TikTok.
That's so weird. Like for some reason, it's not actually giving me Joe Rogan. What the? Let me
Oh, it's flipped over.
let me see.
First of
Is
all,
this
I
it?
am completely over the fact that that someone even made this audio in the first place.
Wait, did he delete it?
Secondly, we need to stop publicly body
Oh,
shaming
he has
people on
so
this
many
app.
new
Because as I've
videos.
said before, when you body shame somebody
Wait, is this the
else,
one that I'm listening
No,
to?
he made a food
Oh, really?
one. There's two. I'll have to unpack these after my stream. I'm gonna have to unpack them because he's so bad, man.
So what was the
His
premise of the
basically,
video?
yeah, the one he did was the fourth newest one. Basically, he was like somebody, like, I guess a young viewer asked another health specialist, like, "Hey, I'm 12. What can I do to like lose weight?" And she's like, "Oh, like cut out sugars out of your diet. Like that's a really good step." And that's like a great
Yeah.
that she didn't say count your calories to a kid. She said
It's her job. It is her
yeah,
job.
she said like cut the sugars out, and then he's like, "This is so toxic. It's gonna promote eating disorders." It's like, bro, sugar is really addictive, and like
Yeah.
kids shouldn't really be eating a lot of sugars or breads or well, white breads in particular, or just like soda, like you
Whoa,
know,
whoa, whoa. What breads?
white breads.
Canceled.
Can't,
Canceled.
oh
Because
yeah,
white bread is bad.
no.
Cancel
Listen. Yeah, the black bread matters, you know.
it.
But honestly though, like the brown breads are better. But it's just like so stupid. Like he jumps on every trend, and people are like, "Yes, this guy's so correct. This guy's got, this guy knows what he's talking about." Because like eating disorders, like I get it. People like bully overweight people for sure, but then like there's a huge health problem where we have a really obese country, and
Yeah.
like we have people who have like developed when they were younger. Well, first and foremost, technology has like made people very lazy, and that's why we never
Yeah.
necessarily needed to focus on health anytime before that because everybody was moving around a lot. But
Yeah.
then on top of that, now you have a lot of young people who are using food as like an emotional, they're using it.
Crutch?
Yeah, right. They're using they're eating to mask their emotions or whatever. Uh, and like now that's what they're doing. And so he's like, yeah, you shouldn't tell a 12-year-old. It's like, well, that's the perfect time in my opinion to tell a 12-year-old that this is a toxic coping mechanism. Eating
Yeah,
is so very toxic. And it's just like Joe Robe, like he doesn't understand the struggle of like actually like I'm 30, so like now like my weight's really affecting me.
He's
And, like,
27.
Right, but he's not fat, so like he doesn't get it. Like from my perspective, it's like yeah, get rid of the sugars. You'll be
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
surprised. Like I don't drink soda. Like drink all water, and you'll see like such a marked improvement in your health. And like stay away from like simple sugars. And like he's just like, no, it's toxic. It promotes eating disorders. Like it's like if you're obese, you have an eating disorder. Like let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like I have like I wouldn't consider it like a clinical eating disorder, but like I have an issue with my eating. So like you've got to avoid this. And if a 12-year-old gets told not to eat sugars and he listens, that's all it will really take. That's really all it will take.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a teenage boy watching this, you should be beating, not eating, to cope with your pain.
Jesus.
But the thing I was talking about with Joe Rogan being 27 is,
He's older than I thought.
yeah. The thing is, these kids are gonna listen to whatever you say.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're saying that you should, I mean, yeah, cool, body positivity, I get that. But if you are obese, chances are your life is going to be shorter.
Yeah, no, for
Or
sure.
maybe it will be. And-
It'll most likely be shorter. Yeah.
And if
unhappier.
a clinical physician is telling you that you need to lose weight, they aren't saying you're a bad person because you're fat. They're
No.
telling you if you want to live a longer, more high quality life, lose weight. Here are my recommendations. They go to school for this. Joe Rogan
Yeah.
just makes a freaking TikTok.
And it was good advice. It wasn't like, because I could, if they had said, like, oh, count your calories, that could be a little weird because kids grow. And I
Yeah.
get it. But they didn't even say that. They just said, stop eating sugar. And it's like such good advice. Eat, like, whatever you're going to eat, just stop eating sugar. And he jumped on it like he's like an expert because it's politically correct to like overly validate fat people. And it's really toxic because like I look at things, they talk a lot about getting rid of political correctness, and I like political correctness, but I also separate things differently. There's non-political correctness, there's political correctness, and then there's overly political correctness. And when it comes to like the fat movement, non-political correctness is like just pure support of bullying overweight people. Political correctness is just accepting people that are fat and just be like, yeah, you're a valid person. Like, I'm not going to bully you. Overly
Yeah.
political correctness is pandering to fat people, like Joe Robe's doing. And this pandering is really, and it goes across every identity group, and it promotes a really weak-minded mentality. And like, these are the
Yeah.
kids that the second that they get say like, oh man, you're kind of overweight, maybe you should eat less, they're going to cry. They're going to be that
Yeah.
fragile, and it's pathetic. And like Joe Robe's promoting like this pandering mentality, and I don't like it at all.
Yeah, that's what all of the high up TikTokers are doing.
Mhm.
Is that they're promoting this. And the thing is, you may think it's good, but it's harmful.
Yeah.
it will have bad effects.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I I just don't get it because like there's people who pander to literally everything on
Yes.
TikTok. Is there's a group, they will be like, yeah, this I know you'll want to hear this, so I'll give you this. The real world's not going to do that for you. You are going to break down once you
Yeah.
enter the real world.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's not even that the real world necessarily should. Like my
Exactly.
philosophy on life, generally speaking, is like we should try to raise people as normal as possible, right? And then if
Mhm.
they deviate from that norm, we should accept them. But like you shouldn't pander to those people because you're like there's a lot of manufacturing of like very weak mentalities. Like when it comes to like the TikTok feminism specifically, like a lot of these young women, there's some women who have like experienced like very serious things, and like they are taking that anger out on men on TikTok. And then you have a lot of younger girls who haven't experienced those things, who are identifying with those experiences despite the fact that they haven't experienced it, and
Oh
then
man.
they're just promoting more hatred. And like if you criticize them, I had an interaction with like your mama's breath stank. If you criticize them, all of a sudden you're an oppressor, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not an oppressor. Like you, what are you talking about? It's
Mhm.
just so, and you have like you're very fragilely your masculinity is very fragile, and it's like, come on, give me
Yeah.
a break.
I made like a TikTok over that Will Smith meme. You know, where it's like it's the song from Heathens from 21 Pilots into the intro.
I
I made a
yeah
video about that about a week ago, and I said, listen, this most of these videos are staged with photos off the
yeah
internet.
all of them are yeah
Exactly, and everyone now is like, oh my gosh, if you do this, you should be thrown in jail. You are a piece of shit.
yes
I'm like, these guys are literally just jumping on a meme,
no
and
but
now people, yeah,
it's not even just that because I agree with you. I did one like yesterday. I looked at the audio and like the top 100 videos are people that are like, oh, you're so bad for this, and I know that they're like somebody else made a video about how it's like, hey, just look it up, and like you could see them. It's like they're all stock images or whatever. But the thing is it's like here's the way I perceive it: is it's like there are some like a lot of younger men, and like they're joking about it, but there's like they're using it as a joke, but like they're actually a lot of people in general have like faced like their own level of toxic femininity. I'm not saying all women are like young people in general suck. So like
yeah.
in relationships. So they've experienced some kind of like hurt in a relationship, and they jump on
Mhm.
this trend. They're like, yeah, I'm identifying with Will Smith because I can identify with this. I feel it, and this is the first time they feel like they can express like that hate, that frustration with whatever they've experienced, and
Mhm.
everybody's shitting on them now. And it's like if it was a woman doing the reverse, everybody would be in so much support of hating men. But now that you have,
Kill. Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah, but now you have the young boys, and they're not even
Kill
saying kill all
platform.
men. They're just like, women are silly. I'm gonna make them cry. And now it's like, oh, you guys are really bad people. It's like, dude, stop. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, let them express it. It's a joke first and foremost, but let them
Every
express it.
yes, it's a
it
joke.
it's
Like
just so
y'all
stupid.
can, yeah. All the girls who have a problem with this, just like I don't know, isolate yourself in Little Island, Antarctica, make your bone marrow babies. I'm
Yeah,
sure they'll come
your
out
bone
great.
marrow babies. Oh my
Bone marrow
god.
babies.
That was such a big meme. I feel like the bone marrow baby thing was like that. That's like the thing that like popped me. Like my first pop video was a video about like the difference between the Ferguson riots and like the riots in over like wearing masks, all the crybaby white people. And then the next
Yeah.
one was like this one girl's like, oh, we can do bone marrow babies, blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, so do it, kill us all.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't work, you're gonna slowly watch as humanity dies out, and like half the population is going to be depressed because like women need men as much as men need women, just completely
Yeah.
from like a validation perspective. Of
Yeah.
course, if you're gay, it's different, but like for the most part, you need validation, like physical validation and just like emotional validation for somebody that you can fall in love with.
Hmm.
And when somebody
Yeah.
says kill
Yeah.
all men, it's like oh, it's just a joke, but and then they give you like 15 minutes worth of content as to why it's justifiable, and it's like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing with bone marrow babies is like the young girls who hop on this channel, like, oh yeah, my bone marrow baby's gonna come out looking like Robert Downey Jr. And I'm like, no, your baby's gonna come out looking like Sloth from the Goonies, and he's gonna die in 2 days.
Honestly, yeah, like they did it on like mice, whatever, and
Mice.
they either had like they're either massive or like small. They either had dwarfism or giantism, and they passed away.
Yo, hold up, that's alpha though. If you can make all these just giant
Yeah,
bone marrow
like
babies.
then they're all giant bone marrow women because they'd all come out as women.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's even better. No disgusting
Yeah,
men.
yeah, yeah. Right. No more
Oh.
discussion. It's so
And if it's a man, I clap. Will clap. Kill it.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's so sad. And like one of the things too is like after they kill all men, if the bone marrow babies don't work, then they'll just use gay and bisexual men to like impregnate them. And it's like, bro, there's not enough bisexual men that like they're not going to be attracted to you.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Just like,
And if you want to, yeah, no, and if you want to continue the joke, so now basically, let's say we eradicate all straight men, and we have like what? There's 3% of the male population left. Now, basically, those men are relegated to sexual objects for the rest of their life. They can't work anything else because you need to continuously promote existence. So now you're forcing men, these gay men who you say are your allies, into sex work.
yeah,
It's like it's so stupid to go down this stupid pipeline joke, but like it's kind of true. Like you could just find out all this dumb things. Like that logic is so flawed. And
yeah. I mean,
yeah, sorry. And all they have to say is like, "Oh no, we were just kidding," but they don't say that. It's like it was a joke, but we only meant all the bad guys, and also gay men will have impregnated us, and then also men are terrible. It's like, dude, come on. If it was just a joke, then you would have just said it was just a joke.
yeah, and like the thing is, like the bone marrow babies, if they even survive, we'll have to start making bone marrow babies, and you'll just end up with something that looks like. You ever watch Toy Story where it's just the doll head on that spider?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that spider isn't gonna be a robot. It's literally just gonna be human limbs. Like that's what you're gonna end up with as our.
It's possible. That's even I don't know. Like if they stopped like 2 or 3 years ago even developing bone marrow babies because they were like unethical. Because actually the only way to get it to work, theoretically, which they never explored, is by taking that bone marrow sperm and injecting it into actual like human male testicles. Like that was
damn.
So like even with your whole narrative where you're just gonna, kill all men, you still need male testicles to make it work.
Yeah, or they could just gonna like attach them on.
Yeah, right. Like so, like
have it under the armpit just for like 3 years. Be like, all right, let's make a baby.
Then we might have to do that. But like that's the thing is like it doesn't work, and like they're so insistent on it, and it's just so silly.
Yeah, TikTok comments. The comments that crack me up is like when they put like the hand clapping emoji between everything.
Yes.
Like that's not emphasizing shit. It's actually making me just be like I'm literally reading it as kill. Oh.
That's
man.
what it is. Yeah. It's so fun though, like the little sparklies. Really quick, one of my people, they said Mikey919. They wanted to let you know that they donated $50 to a charity stream. I guess that's it. I don't,
Mikey, thank you for donating to the charity stream, brother. But or they their defense mechanism is no with the red heart.
Yeah, right.
No.
It's so silly. It's so silly. Like I was on here with Freak Gemini. I don't know if you know who he was.
Oh yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, he made a good point though. He's like, listen, it's all TikTok. Like people outside TikTok really aren't like this. And it's like, sometimes you get lost in it. Sometimes you get lost in like the TikTok excitement.
Yeah.
But like, no, it's really just on TikTok. I don't know why. And people say like I had a conversation. I think it was with Vosh. I don't know if you know who Vosh is. But
yeah. Isn't he the liberal?
Yeah, like a YouTube
debater.
Political. Kind of. Yeah. And like he was like,
Okay.
well, why do you care so much? Like it's just TikTok and like it's all young people. And it's like, well,
it's influencing young people.
Yeah, but that's what it is. Like you're gonna have a bunch of young people who grow up with like this hatred of men, and it's like it's so weird. And like not to be rude, but most of the women who are promoting the kill all men narrative are unequitable. They're inequitable people. They aren't pushing for a better job. There's somebody who works like an entry-level type job. They don't really push to better themselves, and then they complain about being marginalized. And like there absolutely is the power dynamic favors men in society for sure. But it's always the women who don't fight. They don't actually try to work a job that gives them equity. Those are the ones who complain the most. And like I would say that generally speaking, while the power dynamic favors men, it's really like a capitalist issue. It's more of like a financial oppression thing more than like a male oppression. Because, like, it sounds so silly, but, like, I was watching, I know this sounds really weird, but you ever see the show, like, the toy show on Netflix where they tell you about Power Rangers and Barbies, and they tell you...
No, I have not.
There's a show on Netflix, and they tell you about, like, the history of, like, Barbie, for instance. And, like, this narrative goes around where women have never been able to succeed, but, like, there's so many women in, like, the toy industry that, like, are, like, literal heads of companies, like, 70 years ago. Like, black women, too. And, like, of course, racism exists, and, like, the marginalization exists, but, like, if you really wanted it, you really could achieve it. For the most part. You know what I mean? Excluding, like, the nuanced factors. Like, so, like, we have this narrative that, like, men have treated women so poorly, and, like, it really wasn't there. It's just, like, a poor power dynamic.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to. And people hate their fathers because a lot of dads left their kids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the one that I would go with. If I was gonna run a kill all men narrative, I'd be like, look at how bad fathers were, and I'd be like, yeah, I agree. Last
Mm-hmm.
generation fathers were really bad, and I think it's because women got more rights, which is a great thing. But like a lot of men,
Mm-hmm.
those men had like a fragile ego, and they were like, oh, you can't have
Yeah.
power because now,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna contest me in some capacity. But like, you know, but they don't talk about that. They just talk about how like we're all oppressors, and it's just like so stupid.
Yeah. That's what I've been, like. That's like my mindset is that, like, sure there is a ton of racism in America, but the biggest thing that people fail to see is how oppressed the poor people are. The
Oh
lower middle
yeah.
class.
Hmm.
That they literally just like keep you down because they want to keep their money, their power, like
Yeah.
whatever. And like right now, if people are like America is a terrible country, the thing that I have a problem with, like with this whole political correctness, is like you're literally telling these young girls, the young black people, you can't achieve anything in this
Yeah,
country.
like a victim
When
mentality.
you
being
should be
promoted.
like, hey, you can do it. Okay, when you should be encouraging them instead of putting them down. And like all this political correctness is putting them down
Yeah.
and then trying to act like the victim.
I agree. Yeah, it promotes like a very victimizing mentality, and like the thing with it though is that they don't say. They say you're a victim. There's nothing you can do about it. So like support this, but they don't actually outline real solutions. Like we talk,
That's
like
what I don't like.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
haven't looked too much at like Black Lives Matter, and I'm not disagreeing with Black. I understand, but like if you really look at it, mostly what they're trying to say is like, hey, we need to implement laws that hold police accountable for sure. But like, how does that deal with the root of the problem, which really is lack of opportunity, and that lack of opportunity comes from a history of systemic racism and redlining laws that corral people and remove their opportunity. But like, what's your solution? You're not trying to bring equity to poor black
Yeah.
communities, and nobody's talking about it. And like, it really bothers me because I talk about it a lot. I talk about universal basic income as a way to counter the class issues in America. And but nobody talks about it. Nobody cares. No leftist picks it up. Nobody's talking about any real solution. Honestly, I've heard more conservatives talk about the ending systemic racism, even though they don't believe in it, than I have liberals, because they talk about, and I don't agree with it, but they talk about negative income tax. That makes sense. It's better than welfare, because welfare really is a trap, and we should be weaning people off
Yeah.
of welfare. But like, no progressives talking about anything. They're not talking about anything on TikTok, at least. It's so sad.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I don't like is the whole petition narrative. Like, if you sign this petition, something will happen. Listen,
Yeah, right.
if a guy, yeah, I don't think that the police brutality that happens now is a racist issue. I think back
No,
then,
I don't think so.
100%.
Oh yeah,
Like,
like if I have like,
yeah.
if you know anybody's grandpa that was in the police, that guy was probably racist. Like on,
Yeah,
I'm not even trying to. I've every single girl that I've dated with like a grandfather that was in the police force was a legitimate, undeniable racist, like bad, like bad, and like of course some of that echoes, but now I think it's really more of the stereotypes that are promoted through poverty.
yeah, I think it's like with the police brutality, I think it could just be like a power trip.
Yeah, for sure. Like the George Floyd thing, I don't think it was racial at all. It was definitely an issue. And I saw the video, and I know he was drugged up and whatever. But like, there's no reason for you to put your neck on your knee on the back of their neck.
Yeah, there's never a reason for
Yeah,
that.
that was-
Yeah,
I would say that's a form of police brutality, like just pure negligence.
For
like,
sure.
it's so sad.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That's I just don't like the whole narrative that you can just call someone racist if they don't like if they disagree with someone of the other race.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's the truth. That's what happens all over. It happens on TikTok too. And like the worst time to call it out was during the George Floyd thing, and I didn't care. Like Fat Raccoon blocked me because like I called her out for for just calling people randomly racist.
Yeah, all the people.
Specifically the whole thing where it's like you can't be racist towards white people. It's like, oh my god, are we really doing this right now?
You can.
You can be, and they just like, no, you can't because of all these socioeconomic factors. And it's like, we have an issue, in my opinion, in America right now. Maybe not just America, but where people who are formally intelligent, like legitimately intelligent people, no criticism. Well, they are intelligent. I'm not diminishing that. Thinking that they know everything
Yeah.
just because they went to school, But like, no, because what's the benefit of saying you can't be racist to a white person? Literally, all it does is it does two things. One, it promotes hatred towards white people, and two, it makes it so you're setting white people to a higher standard. Because now you're
Yeah.
telling black people, well, you don't, you can say basically whatever you want, but the white people have to police their words. So you're promoting white hatred while simultaneously promoting white supremacy, because you're saying white people are better.
Yeah.
So it's so weird. And it's like, I understand systemic racism. Of course, as a white guy, you can't experience that. But like, individual, if somebody walks up and just knocks me out because I'm white and they're black,
Yeah.
it's a racist.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's so silly. And then then they'll come up with the next thing is like, yeah, but they might have more of a reason to hit you because there's more reason for them to hate white people. I'm like, fine, but it's still racist because like
Yeah.
my very simple comparison is like, if I go up and I hit a random dude, nothing to do with their skin color, in the face, that's assault. But if I hit him in the face because they slept with my wife, it's still assault. It's just justifiable more, but
Yeah.
you're still assault. That's what it is. We can be as empathetic as we want, but you can't justify violence.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I saw like a TikTok made, and it was like hardcore BLM supporters, and it was like white supremacists like, you can't do anything, because like at the start they were like yelling at each other, and a hardcore BLM supporter was like, you can't do anything because the white people are better than you in this country, and the white supremacist was like, or no, it was the KKK, and they're like, yeah, and I was like thinking about it, I was like, damn, their ideologies kind of line up.
Yeah, right. Like, it's like this the narrative where like white people are on like these weird untouchables, or it's like, come on. It all needs to go. And like, we can have a again, like, nobody's having the conversation when it comes to countering systemic racism and oppression with any real solution. Nobody's talking about a solution. Not all. Nobody's talking about practical solutions. The best I've heard of is like, let's just go communists or something. I'm like, come on, like, that's not gonna help. You know?
Yeah, that's the one reason, like one of the reasons. Now, I don't say I support Trump. I don't see how anyone could like fully support one politician, because every politician has flaws. But I have disagreed with some of the stuff he has done, but I also agree with some of the stuff he has done. And I'm only 18. I know that my word holds no weight in the political
No,
community.
but you still have your right to have an opinion. That's the
Yeah.
thing, though, because now you feel like you have to say that. You know,
Yeah,
even if you're wrong, like, people, if you're like, let's say you're wrong, I'm not saying that you are, but like, now you have to walk on eggshells, because like, if you're wrong and somebody, they're not going to explain to you why you're wrong. They're just going to tell you you're a fundamentally bad person and a racist. It's so weird. Yeah.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that I like how he literally he doesn't pander to the popular thing. Like these politicians, like I don't know if you saw this, but I'm pretty sure you're probably what is it, familiar with Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker
Yeah.
of the House.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, they did a photo op after the George Floyd thing,
Yeah. I know you're gonna.
taking a knee, and like, yeah, it was like, I thought it was hardcore pandering, and then they like, something came out about the cloth that they were wearing, which is the kente cloth, and it was of an African village that sold slaves to America, and I was like, damn. I don't know. Like, I don't think it was purpose. I
No,
don't
no,
think it was
no. But it's
purpose.
just like every little identifier to make it seem like they're woke. Yeah, and like, I know that they gave him like a flag when he was, he's killed, and it's like,
Yeah. Ooh,
you know,
yeah, that one.
come on, like, I get it. I don't know. It's just like the whole thing, and like, again, we're still talking about how it's like I really don't think it was a race motivated issue. I think that like, we had all these riots over a guy who, like, he was being belligerent, and then we had a failure from the police officer, and like, the police officer killed him when he should have been more patient.
Yeah.
But like, nothing has supported the narrative that it has anything to do with black people. Which is like, it's hard to talk about, but I really don't think it was. I mean, I still think we need to combat police brutality for sure. There's so many things about the police system that's really messed up.
Yeah.
But like, this wasn't like a race issue. This should have been a way for everybody to go like, hey, this is like an everybody issue.
Yeah, when I saw that he was given the flag, like, I get what they were trying to do with the flag. Like, of course his death was horrible.
Oh,
It
yeah,
shouldn't
for
have happened. It should have been prevented. But comparing it to a military death, I was a little bit like, you don't give a folded up flag to a citizen that dies. you'd give it to someone who fought for their country and died. And like the
Right.
military, like I think that were very justifiably pissed off at that.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's again, it's like a pandering. I wasn't. I mean, I was like, it made me like a little like feel a little gross, but I wasn't like dying over it. But I was like, that's not really right. That's not a good
Yeah,
thing
but I
to do.
could. Yeah, I could. Everyone was like calling the veterans who were very very mad like soft about it, and I was like, these guys probably saw some of their friends shot in the head.
Yeah, and like they died fighting for their country, and like they intentionally, like they knew that going in, and like I know it's a tragedy what happened to George Floyd, but like, you know, I don't know. I feel like I understand that like America has this weird thing about their military and police, and like there is something there. Like we are very weird
Yeah.
when it comes to those authorities, but like I
Hmm.
also feel like we've gone from a point we crossed like a line where it went from like hey let's not completely like over I don't know, pander to military people, but to a point where it's like now it's like anti-military. And it's like Jesus.
Yeah, it's kind of. I've seen a lot of things that are more like. Did you ever hear about what happened to veterans when they came back from Vietnam?
I don't know what. I guess.
They were treated horribly. They were spit on.
Oh,
They
because
were
like
called
they
baby killers.
because the war was like unjustifiable or whatever. Right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, if you're gonna get mad at someone, get mad at
At
the
the
politicians
government.
who
Yeah, yeah.
started the war. These guys have no choice. If someone says you gotta go take a gun and then shoot that person, you
Hmm.
have to. It's the military. I mean, if you put it down, shoot, you could be. They could be like traitor. Boom.
Yeah,
Done.
right, exactly. And now it's like, it's the same way I feel about the police too, because like my opinion, poverty is like a failure of the government, and like everybody gives police so much crap. But like I honestly, it's a governmental failure in my opinion. Like police officers
Hmm.
weren't the ones to sign redlining laws to put black people into particular areas. It was like the politicians. It was like now we give police so much shit, and like it's literally the police officer's job to deal with failure of the government.
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
it's like shooting the messenger.
Yeah, yeah. The police are supposed to enforce laws, and they
Yeah.
had to enforce those race laws. Now, was the police system like very racist
Oh yeah, for
back
sure.
in the civil rights
Well,
era?
you know what I
And
would say,
before
the
that?
people,
Yeah,
the people, rough.
yeah.
But like when you talk about nowadays, I really don't see it, especially since like when you look, um, you know, there's studies that suggest or really show that the interactions between white police officers and black perpetrators are much more positive than the interactions between black police officers and black perpetrators. Like white
Hmm.
people, like it's. I mean, obviously it's because of like all the social standards, but like it's like the white police officers are generally trying to do a better job because they're like overly policing themselves when it comes to some of this stuff.
Yeah. The thing, the thing that kind of like struck, I would say like I wasn't completely pissed off, but I don't like is the acronym ACAB.
Yeah, you don't
And
like the
I
all
think
cops are
I
bad.
think it's very close mind because it seems really close minded because first of all everyone's like it stands for all cops are bastard. I hear way more people saying all cops are bad.
Right.
Second of all,
Well, it's
you guys
bad either
get
way,
mad
right?
when yeah, it's like in my community, I've had a few run-ins with the law enforcement,
Hmm.
and I've never seen the law enforcement. If anything, I've seen them help minorities
Hmm.
like more than white people. They're in schools. Some of them even give kids rides to places. They check in on everything. They're always called to like the thing is, we always had officers coming in and out of schools. Whenever a kid would do something like, say that there was a fight at school,
Hmm.
they would just have a talk with them. They would talk with them, and whenever I'm like, I disagree with ACAB, then they have to explain why ACAB. And if you have to explain it and you're saying it, then like, come on,
Yeah,
they're like,
it's
all
because
cops
it's
support a broken system.
yeah, it's because it's all cops are bastards, all kill all men. It's this all narrative, and it's like I don't know, because my experience with police officers has never been that bad. Um, but for the most part, they were like negative, but not like super negative. They were like passive aggressive negative. Where like
Mhm.
like for instance, one time I was driving on like a road at like 4 in the morning, and this cop, I guess he was off duty. He drove past me like 80 miles an hour, so I thought he wanted to race. So like we kept racing each other, and then he clocked in and came to my house like you were whatever. Like that was obviously
Mhm.
a weird abuse of power because he wanted me to pull up, and that it was just weird. And like
Yeah.
I have, and like my girlfriend has had like issues where police officers like yelled at her like for small things, and like there's to me there, and like those are very minor things. There is like an issue of like some form of police brutality for sure, but like they over exaggerated. Because then I've had interactions where I got arrested and the cops were very nice to me. So you know what I mean, like it, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem like anybody's targeting the solution, because we have so many conversations on TikTok or even in general where like you seem all over. Oh, is systemic racism real or not? And you have conservatives saying no, and progressives saying yes, and then like no one's saying who cares. I know it's weird, but who cares? Like, who really cares? Because at the end of the day, if you can get your solution passed, who cares if there's systemic racism? Like, what are you gonna do? Because like reparations are horribly divisive. No one's gonna support them. And, like, I know what I mean. Nobody. I mean, no one's gonna support reparations for Black people. Like, even Hispanic and Asian people, they're not like jumping on that. They don't want that. So like, come up with the solution and wrap people around it. Because I've talked to conservatives and they say I just don't see systemic racism. But then we talk about UBI and they're like, oh, I think I could get along with that. So like, who cares if they agree with it or not? We're still going to reverse it if you come up with a solution. But people don't care. They're more interested in talking about like these things that don't necessarily matter rather than coming up with real solutions.
Yeah, I've seen some solutions proposed, but they're awful. First of all, if you send, let's say, just for instance, a 5'4", 100-pound social worker to go deal with a domestic violence dispute, that will go bad. That will go horribly, horribly bad.
Oh yeah.
But if you send an officer, it could still go bad. Like, there's always a chance of everything going bad.
I know you're talking about the defund the police thing, where it's like defund the police and allocate the resources into X, Y, or Z. I'll tell you that most social workers, like, they're like, no, not a good idea. Like, some people are like, they have trained police officers to be social. Not going to happen. Social workers can't even do their job the right way. You're going to try to train police officers. I know it's a rough take, but it's coming from a social. I just had this conversation with my girlfriend yesterday about it. But like, no, I hate the defund the police narrative, because when the first thing I heard about it, it was defund the police, like, fully, as like a stupid meme, like where young kids were just being dumb. It was mostly like goth girls saying, and then probably people picked it up, and then they said like, then other people picked it up and said like, no, we just mean reduce funding here and put it here. And I'm like, not gonna happen. You're not gonna reduce funding and increase the training that police officers get, which they do desperately need, and then put them into other things and think you think it's gonna work. It's not, because they're talking about like, puts more social workers, more welfare programs. No, it's not gonna work. First of all, if you wanted to try to get to work, you would invest more into those before defunding the police. Then if they worked, then you could defund the police. But like, you're gonna just do it and like on a whim hope that like it happens? No. A lot of these areas that like, they saw like in New York, like a lot of these areas where they're like defund the police, a lot of those poor areas, they're like, yeah, I wish you didn't. Because like, you have like people in violent areas who are just trying to live, and now they're like running more rampant because police reduce crime. Like, people just pretend that they don't, and like nobody has a good feel on it. And it's a lot of intelligent people who don't live in the real world, and they think they understand, but they don't. I live in a very moderate area. It's like 50% white, 50% minority. It's very, very, very mixed, like class-wise. Like literally, my block, I'm like middle class, and then at the end of my block is a halfway house, and the next block over is lower class, and we're very mixed. And like, it's different. Like, people aren't that stupid. Everybody's like, yeah, the police kind of stink in some ways, but like, we're happy to have them. Like, moderates, and it doesn't matter what race they are. They all agree in the same thing, generally speaking. It's these people who are in like upper middle class areas who exist solely with other upper middle class people who like don't understand the real world. Because I went to school with like all lower class people, black, white. Everybody's an asshole. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing that's interesting, is like when I see like these interviewers go into, for instance, like Chicago, or like I don't know if it's the correct term, like the slums.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, you see like the ghettos. Is that what you?
I don't know. But,
I know like the political correct. I know what you.
Like the bad neighborhoods.
Yeah, like the impoverished areas.
Low cost housing.
Yeah, like the yeah, right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, these people want the police there.
Yeah, right.
They said, if anything, we need to increase police presence in these areas because there are people like shooting each other. But the thing that it gets to a point on both sides where they just weaponize deaths for their own gain. And that's something I don't think helps at all.
No, not at all.
I remember seeing conservatives weaponizing a death of 14 people at a funeral in Chicago, you guys wouldn't have talked about it if the liberals weren't talking about the death of just like a black dude getting killed by a white dude.
No, right. It's all reactionary. Nobody really cares. And then we all talk about, like, they bring up 1352. The second anybody talks about systemic racism, they all bring up 1352. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like the 13,
1352.
it's like 13, it's like 13% of the population commits like 52%.
Oh.
Yeah, like that whole meme. But they bring it up only when it's like it's a way to dismiss something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, deaths and all these weird narratives. Nobody, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's yeah. What are your thoughts on the two-party system? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that it's like a big issue. You know, my thing is like I remember, you know who the real Heisenberg is?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that guy, yeah. Yeah,
I did a podcast with him. It was a trip, man. But he said one
he
really,
came on.
huh?
Oh, he came on. I wasn't. He doesn't seem like someone who would want to.
No,
talk to
long.
someone
It
about
was a difficulty getting him on. I was like, hey, do you want to come on? Let's have a conversation. And at first he's like, okay. And then he's like, well, I don't want to do this because he was like worried I was gonna like try to like, jump on him and like beat him up,
Yeah.
beat him down. Because I guess he had like weird interactions with like Nick videos or something. And then I was like, bro, I'm just trying to have conversations. And he's like, don't. He started talking about debate lingo, and I was like, bro, I'm not gonna try to like sideline you. And then it was a weird conversation. But the one thing he said that was very good was he talked about, and they think they do this in other countries, like a party system, like a 5 or 10 party system, where like you do ranked voting. So you see like 5 different parties on the debate stage at the end, not just like
Mm-hmm.
and like you would rank them based on what you liked, like best to worst, and the person with the highest rank would win rather than the person with the most ones. So like this way it's a little more fair. You have more ideas circulating around, so more people can win. It's much more fair, and I agreed with that because
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that popular vote is a good solution to our current. It's like, oh well, we should have a popular vote. Like, who cares? You just want that so more Democrats win. Like, what, that doesn't fix our issue. Democrats and Republicans like suck. Like the way I
Yeah.
look at it is Republicans are just trying to cut taxes and boost the military to a fault, and Democrats are just like pandering and whatever they need to promote feel good programs to a fault. I don't think that these programs necessarily work. And it's crazy.
For sure.
And like nobody like really wants to fix it. They're like, yeah, let's just vote Joe Biden. He's like the best of a bad situation. It's like, come on. It's just nuts. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what the whole Joe Biden situation. I mean, in my opinion, he just pandered by picking Kamala Harris to be his running mate.
Oh yeah, he knows. He's like the embodiment of
They
like
hate each
pandering.
other.
Yeah. No.
They
Yeah.
hate each other.
They're like that was because she's a woman. She's a black woman. So like that's a good pick, and it's a good pick from a political perspective. But like honestly, I honestly might be voting Trump. Honestly, I just
That's
it's a hard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty biased with what happened today. How he sent the 4 billion that fast.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
most likely going to vote for Trump. But the thing is, I thought that the best candidate was Yang. Like,
Yeah,
I
me too.
really liked Andrew. I really liked Andrew.
He was
Yang.
good. He was good. You know, his universal basic income stuck with me very heavily. Like I
Yeah.
wrap my mind around it even more as I go on, and like it's all I talk about. It's like my main. It's like my main driver. Like if I was in office, the first thing I'd do is like I'd implement like a Medicare for all that maintained a private insurance option, and then the next step would be UBI, and then I would let the country sit for 4 years, because I also like, and then just see how it went, because I think it's a great, the universal base. It makes so much sense, and like
Can you explain it more for like people who aren't familiar?
yeah, of course. So like specifically Yang's universal basic income concept is $1,000 a month to everybody 18 and older in the United States. And it's an opt-in to welfare. So like if you have welfare programs already, you would have to come off of those to get onto it, which I think is great, because I think that there are two types of people on welfare: people who want to be on welfare and people who don't. And the people who don't are going to have an out. And not only are they going to have an out by getting $1,000 unconditional, but they're also, it's going to be so much money getting pushed through the bottom of the system that more jobs are going to be created. It's going to lower
Oh, yeah.
crime rates in areas that lack opportunity, because opportunity is there now. Big businesses are going to move into those areas to start selling. People are going to have the money to be able to open up their own small businesses, and then other people are going to be able to work for them because now they're getting an extra $1,000 a month. And so it's going to really stimulate very heavily. I think it's a great first step. I think that it's a great way to redistribute wealth in a positive way, and I think it gives people choice on their money. Like I always talk about, like education, for instance. People are always like, "Oh, we need to increase more money, invest more money into education." I disagree, and I'm gonna explain why. People always go like, "Why?" My thing is if we give $1,000 a month to everybody in a particular community, and we're pumping millions of dollars a month into those communities, that's going to give them opportunity. Like I just said, businesses will come; they'll be able to invest in their own businesses. Then they're
Yeah.
going to be able to make more money overall with those opportunities on top of their UBI. So now they can just go, okay, we have accumulated our own wealth, we have solid income. Why don't we increase our own property taxes and have better schools ourselves? To the degree they need them. Not every place needs like New York level of education.
Yeah.
It's not honestly. So like provide like let them invest in their own schooling because people think that like oh New York has so much money because they have good schools. No, they have so much money because they're a trading hub in the world, and that
Yeah.
extra money that from the infrastructure is what they allowed them to invest more into schooling.
Yeah.
So that's my place, and I love it because I think it solves almost every, or at least the majority of every issue. Like it's, I mean, I think it's a great step towards like reducing like just general racism in the United States. I think racism. People talk about how people are more racist because of Trump now, and like I understand the insensitivity that comes with his words would like stimulate a
Yeah.
racist, but also my argument is that people have been getting slowly siphoned by like really technology, like rich people using technology to take away jobs and take away like and stall wages. That they're getting more
Yeah.
angry as their bubble closes, and they're becoming racist because they don't know what else to blame. Honestly, and then on the other side, you have people like black people or impoverished black people who are also feeling the same draining, and they're just committing like poor behavior because due to lack of opportunity, like that
Yeah.
anybody would experience. Nothing to do with them being black. And so now like we have all this like lack of money is perpetuating racism, in my opinion. And people say, well, it's not the purest, the best. It's not. People say like, oh, well, it wouldn't fix everything, but like, who cares? It would fix so much.
Yeah.
It would fix so much, and like I'm so into it. Like I don't know if you want me to go into like the cost of it, everything, and all those things. I have no problem going into whatever other question you had about UBI. Um, that's
I
up to
mean,
you.
I mean, like, just like kind of give like a basic rundown of that, like the numbers.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. No. Basically, like it's a $3 trillion cost, right? It'll cost us $3 trillion a year. You would mitigate anywhere from $2 to $2.5 trillion between a value-added tax, getting people off of welfare, disability, and unemployment programs, and also just the raw amount of dollars pumping through the economy is estimated to bring in anywhere from $800 to $900 billion a year. So like you've almost completely eradicated the cost for it. And if you don't, there's still other ways to go, like taxing rich people more effectively and trying to get rid of tax avoidance. That like this is a realistic program to pay for. And with like Trump,
Yeah.
as much as people may like him or dislike him, he increased the annual federal deficit by like $350 billion before the coronavirus. So like you have to. It's clearly regardless of whether you're a Democrat or Republican, you have to spend money to start scaling back. And I think that like this is the best way to do that. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a discussion with. I'm not gonna like say his name on the podcast, but a person in my area who's pretty conservative, and I was like Reagan kind of messed some stuff up. Like,
Reagan,
with the
man.
war on drugs, like the impoverished areas were flooded with drugs.
Yeah, and it went a little deeper. My understanding is like Reagan cut regulations that like allowed weird payments. Like I think something to do with the way that you could pay with stocks to your employees, or your and like we like back in the Reagan generation. I think that the average CEO of a company. Maybe it wasn't CEO, but like the average, I forget what it is, but they earned like anywhere from like 20 to 40 times more than their worker, and now it's up to almost 400 times the average worker, and it's insane. Yeah, no, it's insane, and that's partly because of Reagan. Like, I don't know the specifics of it, but that's my understanding of it.
Yeah, that's just like whenever I try to tell a conservative person that like Reagan, in my opinion, he was not that great. They freak out.
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
do.
dude, I don't get why everyone freaks out when you have a different opinion nowadays. The
Yeah.
way that we can fix things, in my opinion, is like we have conversations, we talk about it.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's really underrated. It's honestly like people think it's like so cliche, but like having conversation. I've had so many discussions with conservatives specifically, and I've wrapped them all around UBI. And it's like, oh, like people give me shit for being, because I consider myself like a new age conservative that believes in like, putting opportunity in people's hands rather than governmental control. But like I'm able to wrap people around a UBI, which is the most progressive idea out there right now. And like nobody cares. Nobody cares. None of the TikTok liberals care. None of the people care. They don't care about solutions, man. They just love being angry because it's fun and it gives them clout.
Get some viewers. Yeah, I mean, the highest. The thing is, the highest liked like party on TikTok is Republican, but the most like the one that the ideas that get thrown out there the most, which popular creators just get it and they don't even really care, but they pander and they say, "Oh, Trump is bad," and
Yeah.
they get likes from that. But the follows, where people want to keep seeing videos like this, is from conservatives. And the thing is, on TikTok, first of all, most of you kids can't even vote.
It's true. It's a lot of people saying you should vote for this person when they can't even vote. It's a funny, yeah.
Yeah, Trump 2020 on a sparkly gravestone, sparkly.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I like sparkly comments. It would bring my attention.
I don't. Do you know who Ashley Videos is?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I like her. She's a progressive. She's like a Democrat, I guess. She's like 17. I like her. Like she's cool. We're fine and everything. We've had conversations, but like there was one time where when I first started my page, I made a joke. And because I never intended it to be like a political page. I always wanted to make jokes, and then it got there with the George Floyd thing. But
Yeah.
and it like it became a lot of commentary. But like I made a joke, and she had made a thing about how it's like, oh, stop telling gay people that we lost a good one when they come out as gay. So I was like, oh, I wish we'd lose this one. Like as a joke to her, like just like, oh, go away. Like it was a silly joke,
Oh my
and then
God.
I got so many death threats. It was insane. It was insane. It was
People can't
nuts,
take
man.
jokes.
It was bad. It was so bad, but it was funny. That I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god. And like I feel like that's the most of what people get. Like I know I've had a lot of problems with like my people that follow me, like sending death threats to people, which I think is all but gone at this point. It's which is a great thing because I've been very
I made a few videos addressing that. Yeah.
I've been very vocal against it. I've been blocking people who I see are very toxic. But like I think most of it really is just people going on the page and just being like, "Oh, I hate you," and like people take it too personally and they get upset by it.
Yeah. This generation needs to learn how to take jokes. Okay. Like I've seen
Just
so
criticism
many
in
people-
general.
Yeah, I've seen so many people have to take their page down because they made a joke someone didn't like,
Mm-hmm.
and nowadays all big companies, colleges even pander, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
emailed their college, and their college is like, take this down or get kicked out.
Yeah.
Like, did you see the girl? Her name is Claire Janover.
Yes.
She was the girl who got,
yeah.
got kicked out of Harvard for saying that you should.
Well, she
like,
lost her internship because of it.
She lost her internship. Okay,
Yeah,
my fault.
yeah.
But the reason is that she said that she's gonna like stab an All Lives Matter supporter laying on the street.
It was a
and
joke.
then
I saw the
show him my
joke.
paper cut. Yeah, everyone knows that it was a joke.
It was like she was being she was being exaggeratory. She was like, "Oh, I'll stab you with a knife, and then I'll show you my paper cut and say like, oh, my paper cut matters too." And I
Yeah.
got it, and like I was because a lot
It was a joke.
of conservatives loved it. They were happy about it, and I was the only one that said
Yeah.
like, I'm not, because like you can't sit here and complain about getting canceled as a conservative, because conservatives get canceled more than anything else. You can't get you can't complain about getting canceled, and then the second it happens to somebody else unjustifiably, you can't turn around and be like, oh no, this is fine, because like you're doing what I call out, which is like the oppressor narrative. Like, oh, now it's happening to them. It's funny. And like, no, that's not equality. That's like worse. You're supposed to set an example. And if you can't even
Yeah.
handle it over cancel culture, then like how are you expected to be able to how do you expect people that are progressive to deal with their own issues in a way that doesn't
Yeah.
demonize you, It's just too much BS.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot that people are gung ho about canceling until it flips around on them.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
she never even like do you like her content?
I honestly don't really care for. I'll
I
be
don't
down to
I don't
talk.
like her content.
I don't care for her as a. I don't care for her as a person.
Me neither, honestly.
Like, of course, I'm not. I don't hate her.
No,
but, like,
right.
if one of her videos pop up on my For You page, hey, it's Claire. Gone.
Yeah,
It's
right.
cool.
No, she has to be blocked. But I don't like her. I think that she's like, I think that she's kind of pathetic. Like, she's another person who just like promotes a very toxic narrative, and then she gets really upset when you call her out, and that's the thing that gets me. That's why I don't like Joe Rogan. It's not because he's like it's not because his ideas are toxic. It's because he won't fight for his ideas, and like running away from criticism. It's what avoids changing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to become a better person by running away from criticism. So like that's what
Mm-hmm.
I don't like about him and her, honestly. But they're like they're bigger voices on there. People who run away from criticism are like the biggest voices on the platform, honestly.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you know who Undos is?
Who?
Undos. He's a light skin. He dances. I don't even know what he does because he blocked me 2 months ago.
Oh, really?
He blocked me because he was gung ho about canceling people. Nick Video sent him a DM saying, "I don't see what your problem is with me." Put it up on his page. Said, "Go after him, guys." And he has like 3 point. I don't even know how many followers he's at right now.
Really?
And I said, and then it came out that he was like colorist because the girl said that his head looked like a pineapple, and the girl is rather dark skinned, and
Right.
he was like, "Your skin looks like charcoal."
Oh my
and,
god.
And they sent a wave out to cancel him, and he made an apology video. Of course, turned his comments off. So I commented. I was like, "Look, bro, if you're all about canceling people, don't turn off your comments when it comes to you getting canceled."
Yeah, for sure.
And he blocked me on the spot.
Oh yeah,
was like,
he
wow.
doesn't want to hear it.
Then he came back to the app after he had, I'm guessing, blocked all the people that criticized him. And then he said, "Yeah, cancel culture can't get me." I'm like, bro, I literally said just man up, and he blocked me.
Yeah, no. It's just pathetic, man. Like, nobody should be accountable for your actions. That's the thing. People aren't accountable for what they say at all. They don't care.
Yeah, the thing is, what I don't support, and I've been involved in people trying to cancel me a little bit, for current things, just like a joke or something small like that. It happens all the time. It's always gonna happen. Why I don't get why people will dig up a tweet from 7 years ago on someone's feed and then try to cancel them over it. Because if they haven't made that same joke or said that same thing in 7 years, it means they probably don't support that.
Yeah, probably not. It's like Sky Jackson.
Yeah,
They're just trying to cancel people.
I do not like Sky Jackson one bit.
No, me neither. She's gonna cancel us when she sees this now.
Oh gosh, she's gonna dox me, dude.
I
heard that, I was like, come on. Is Disney not paying you the money anymore?
Yeah, right.
She blocks people. One of my friends is blocked by her.
Really? Really? That's crazy. She's very petty. It'd be fine if she doxed me at this point. Like I can't lose anything. Like I actually do this full time now, so I don't care.
How's that been going?
Not bad. Last week was my first full time week. I like it was a good week. It went pretty well. So, so far I'm like able to sustain. I have like really fantastic followers that they support me a lot. So I've been doing a lot of Twitch. I make like a living. I'm actually making like enough money to live right now for Twitch. Then I'm trying to push out to YouTube and other thing. I got a really nice comment today on my YouTube. I know it's so weird, but the guy was like, "Hey, I followed you on YouTube from your TikTok. I expected you just to be like another idiot that was just that had no real substance, but like wanted to try to reach out to make as much money as possible." And he's like, "But I sat down and I watched like some of your stuff. And it's like, oh, it's actually good." And I was like, "Oh, that makes me feel nice. Like it's good because I'm trying to do content that's like decent content, not like some kind of BS like just clickbait BS. You know what I mean?"
Yeah. I whenever I get those comments or I see someone I know get those comments, I'm always like that's great, because most of the people, or I could say all the people I follow on TikTok, I find them entertaining, and I'll watch them on other platforms. And the thing is, my dream is not to be a big TikToker. I want to be a big YouTuber. I want to be a big Twitch streamer.
Right.
I want to be a big guy on Twitter. I want to do all this stuff. TikTok was just a way for me to get there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I never I wanted to when I was younger I had like dreams of being like a gamer and stuff. Like I was like very good at like I don't know if you know what Dota 2 is.
I do not.
No, it's like it's an online video game. But like I used to be like good. I used to be really good at games, and then like that was like my dream to stream. I tried for a while when I was like in my mid-20s. And then I was like, screw it, and I started settling for. And then all of a sudden, this came out. Like I went on TikTok because my girlfriends, they said like, "Oh, go look at your thing." Like just look at our. They started sending me stuff.
Did you say girlfriends?
Yeah, yes, I have two. Well, I have a fiance and a girlfriend. But.
Oh, okay.
I'm serious.
You're serious? Oh,
no, I'm serious. Yeah. But they got me on there because they were tired of sending me stuff on Instagram. So I went on there and then I just started making content. and that was in March of this year, and like it just kind of took off for me, and like it went really well. So like now I'm like, yeah, maybe I can stream again. And it's funny because now I'm bad at video games, but you know,
Yeah, me too. I'm horrible, but
come
you
full
can't just
circle.
like drop that bombshell. You have to go down to like not talk about. Are you okay talking about it?
Yeah, a little bit of it, not too specifically. Like people ask to like,
Okay, yeah, just share what you're comfortable with.
no, yeah, you know, it's so funny because I make some content about it, and people, it's like I'm at a point like I assume everybody knows, but like, why would they? Honestly,
Yeah, I'm guessing that the most asked about stuff is in the bedroom.
yeah, no,
stuff like that.
there's nothing like in that capacity where like there's nothing sexual between the two of them. It's just like the three of us, like so it's basically two monogamous relationships intertwined. They like each other. They're friends. We're talking about moving
Yo,
in
this
together.
man Poland, bro.
We're talking about moving in together. Well, we want to move in together soon. We're trying to get out of our current living situation. So we're trying to figure out where if we want to move out of state or what we want to do and all. Because part of me now I'm afraid to move out of state because like I have good internet and like I'm like, oh, if I move somewhere else, how good is the internet gonna be? Like
Yeah.
I'm like terrified of it. But yeah, no, there's not a whole. There's a lot, you know. But like as far as the history of it, like neither of them are comfortable talking about that yet. So like I've never gotten into that. You know, one day that'll be like my big bombshell when I'm slowly fading out of the limelight. It'll be like, oh guys, this is this.
Yeah,
But,
the Hail Mary.
Yeah, right. But I'm a lucky man, so I'm very
Oh
lucky.
yeah.
So
I know that there's a person in Utah right now just standing up, just applauding you.
yeah, right. Let's see if they knew
All the words
if
you
there
typed,
was
like,
a
yo,
if
that's
there,
fitting.
if they I always get that a lot of my younger fans are like, oh man, you know. It's so it's funny. I mean, you know, it's nice to have like the little. It's like that's not why I'm in the relationship, but it's like one of those things where like I can't help but like yeah, you get an inflated sense of yourself when you're in a situation like this. You know?
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
So I'll be the first president with two wives. You know.
Two first ladies.
Yeah, right. I don't think
What
there's
is it?
any state
Yeah.
where it's legal. I don't know. To like.
Oh, is it illegal?
I think it's illegal to get married to two different people. You can do whatever you want. You can be poly if you want. Nobody cares.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, Will Smith's wife had a husband and a boyfriend, so.
Oh my God, Will Smith's wife. She just I don't like Jada very much.
She did that to Will Smith.
It's, you know what gets
Who
me
does
more.
that to Will Smith?
What gets me more than anything else is like it wasn't even like respectful in my opinion. Like it seemed that what it didn't seem respectful at all because like the way that like the kids talked about it was just so weird, and like Will was uncomfortable with it, and like clearly, I don't know, it was messed
He
up.
was heartbroken.
Yeah, right. It was just messed up, man. He should have just dropped her, but he probably wanted to stay together for the kids. He's a nice guy. You
Yeah,
know?
like you can tell, like when he found out, like on. Did you watch the Talk by Tabletop?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw him give her a little bit of stuff. He gave her some crap for it.
Yeah, she was like, "Yeah, I cheated on you. But why are you getting mad at me?" I'm like, "Come on."
She clearly
Seriously.
bullied him into whatever situation that they were in.
She was manipulating him.
Oh yeah,
I felt bad. I felt so bad.
I clock her as that kind of individual. Like you could tell, like she's like you know there's like she's clearly like a strong woman, sure, but it goes to a point of like gaslighting and toxicity, which is like just very gross and toxic, honestly. Unfortunate
Yeah.
for Will Smith because he's a nice guy, you know.
Wasn't Jada Smith friends with Tupac?
Was she? I think I heard that. I think so.
She was. Yeah, definitely a little weird that she was friends with Tupac and now is married to Will Smith. But,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
No.
he's a little like Will Smith's a great guy. I think he was a little too soft for Jada, honestly. You know, not trying to
Yeah.
criticize him, but like he's
well, the thing is, if he puts his foot down, then he's gonna be all. He's gonna be in a toxic. He's gonna be a toxic man.
yeah, right. Like there's a whole Johnny Depp thing, right, where like a woman was abusing him and then like he got blamed for it or something. I don't know the
Yeah,
specifics. Very weird stuff.
Yeah, everyone thought that he beat his wife, but it turns out that his wife was beating him.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's very real. I mean, it's. I could definitely see, like a lot of men are like, "Hey, you can't hit a woman," so the woman's like, "Oh, you're not gonna hit me? Well, bow, bitch. And
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like,
They
damn.
it's sad they like weaponize their privilege as a woman, like you know what I mean, like that chivalrousness.
Kill
Yeah.
all women 2020.
Oh yeah, it's just a joke, guys. So yeah, I don't know if you wanted to field some questions. I don't know if any of my fans had questions.
If they do, yeah,
Yeah, let me
go
get
ahead.
that. We can end off with that. Are you? Oh, by the way, are you playing any games after this?
No, I'm gonna get off
Oh,
and
that's all right. They wanted to know.
probably sleep some more. Probably sleep some more.
I
I'm
don't blame
still a
you.
little, still a little.
Um,
Yeah.
these questions are ridiculous. Like I can't. I imagine how many times you've been asked, is your house a log?
I mean, at one point,
Yeah, was it? Oh yeah,
oh,
that's
was
funny.
it?
That was good. Yeah, it took me a second. That was funny.
Mhm.
They wanted. How long did you sleep after that stream?
16 and a half hours. I
Jesus,
slept for 16 and a half hours after that stream. It was good sleep.
that's nuts.
Woke up with the lines all over my body.
Yeah, that's good though.
Good ass nap. Mhm.
Uh, what thoughts on Joe Biden?
Thoughts on Joe Biden? I don't think he is mentally fit for office, bro.
Me
That man
neither,
does
man.
not know what he's saying.
I don't think he's
I
mentally
can't.
fit
One
at all.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah. This is the most excited I've ever been to watch a presidential debate, though,
It's
because
sad though. It's
Trump
sad.
will be. Trump is going to mop the floor with him at the debates. It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna.
Like, he is going to slip up.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't be entertaining, but it's gonna be, and it's so sad.
It's
Um,
it's gonna be pretty bad.
How do you feel about Trump's plan to cut the payroll tax?
Cut the payroll tax. I'm unfamiliar.
I believe, if I'm not wrong, the payroll tax is like income tax, which is stupid. To cut income. If anything, now the way I look at it is, in an ideal world, we should almost exclusively have income tax, and like we theoretically, like I think we should be able to just get rid of all of the taxes except income tax, and the reason is because flat taxes, even the value-added tax that I promote with UBI, those are called regressive taxes, and effectively, since the tax is equal among all poverty, or rather all economic lines, whether you're rich or poor, it disproportionately targets poor people because like you have to use more of your income for those basic necessities. So like
Yeah.
10% of your $10,000 means a lot more than 10% of your $100,000. So like that, and whatever he's, because the flat tax would be devastating for poor people. Honestly,
Oh yeah, for
it's
sure.
terrible. Like regressive. So like
So
ridiculous.
I don't really support taxing everyone equally.
No, me
I don't
neither.
think that's
No,
the
I
right
don't
thing.
think so either. There should be a scale. Like the more money you have, the less money you need. Like if you have $200,000, you don't need all of it. If you have
Yeah,
ten
if I have
thousand dollars,
$100 in my pocket and you ask me for 50, it's gonna be a lot different than if someone has 2 billion in their pocket and
Yeah.
asks for 50.
or even if you ask for 200 million,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like they'll be fine. And of course that's exaggerated, but let me ask you this before we get off this. Somebody wanted to know about cultural appropriation. Like, what are your feelings on cultural appropriation? Because all over TikTok, the crying about it is.
Cultural appropriation. I mean, if you want to spread your culture, shouldn't that be a good thing? Why would you gatekeep your own culture?
That's my thing. My thing is like you have a lot of people talking about Western beauty standards and how like young people of color, like young boys and girls, are like not properly represented in society. And then the second that people try to ingrain that into our society, you call cultural appropriation. And you really can't get both. You have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I have some black friends who, let's say, they dress up in a polo and some khakis, and people are like, "Ooh, whitewashed," and I'm like,
Yeah, right. It's gross. Why are you telling them he's whitewashed?
"Yeah." And the thing is, like, whenever the thing, yeah, it's just like
And white
from
people.
one side or the other. If you see, sorry for cutting you off.
No,
you
no,
see
no.
like a black creator talking about like if they say like Trump 2020, they will be destroyed.
Yeah, they're called like some really like I'm not even.
We don't even claim you.
Yeah, they call them some incredibly derogatory things, and it's ridiculous. It's so bad. I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's like, dude, God forbid someone has like freedom of thought. It's because people think that political ideology is like so like, oh, you want me to be dead, and it's like, dude, like. Just because someone doesn't support Black Lives Matter doesn't mean they don't like black people. It just means that they don't think Black Lives Matter is going to be effective, and I can agree with that to an extent. So like it's crazy. People are just like they're psychotic and they don't understand. They melt down if you don't agree with them, and anything that they can do to shame you into believing them, that's the easiest tactic. 'Cause it's easier to sit here and say that you're a bad person for your beliefs rather than to sit down and explain why that your beliefs might be better.
For sure.
So it's gross. All right, man. I don't know if you have anything that you wanted to talk about. Either way, love to have you back at some point. So.
Oh yeah.
Love to have each other back.
Love to have each other back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to plug?
No, I'm good. I think I'm fine. I'm gonna be streaming after this. So.
All right, you guys heard him. Twitch.tv/
Ben Houselug. That's yours.
Yeah, that's mine. But what's yours?
Oh, mine's Papa_Gut20. Oh, I forgot you're putting it up on yours. Yeah, mine's Twitch.tv/ Papa_Gut2032. Somebody took Papa Gut from me.
Are you gonna try to get it back, or are you just gonna keep
I never had it. I just mean that they took it at some point. It's like some German thing. Like if you look up Papa Gut, like I come up first, but then after that a bunch of
yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. It means like a good dad or something. I don't know. It's so weird. So anyway,
Cool.
yeah. So like I'm German, so I guess it's a double whammy. But anyway, man, thank you so much for coming. Well, thank you for both of us. You know. I'm happy to be on. I'm happy to be on.
Yours.
I'm happy to be on your show, and I'm happy that you came onto mine. It was great. I really enjoyed it. It was nice talking to you, my man.
Yeah, nice talking to you too, man.
Have a good one. Get some more sleep.
I will try and have a great stream.
Thank you, man.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.